now for tonight's Power Panel. Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, radio show host Larry O'Connor, and host of the Jesse Kelly Show in Houston. Jesse Kelly, welcome to all of you.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. I gotta say, the numbers that came out today and some of the revelations by the DHS secretary, including that they have to pregnancy test every girl over the age of 10 who comes to the border because of what happens to them on this trip. Leslie, that was shocking to me.
It is shocking, and that's part of the crisis, if you will. It's not that these people are coming here. It's what happens to some of them, allegedly children, after they get here, whether they're separated from their parents, whether they're victims of some type of harassment, sexual assault, or molestation. And it's that we have a 4+ year backlog in our courts, no legal representation for these individuals. And if we have an emergency over the numbers, we need to look to the year 2000 when we didn't declare a national emergency and we had hundreds of thousands more coming to our borders at that time just 19 years ago.
But let me just read some of these headlines, because Larry, I know you're chomping at the bit, because we're told this is not a national emergency, it's not a crisis, but then today people are saying yes, it is a crisis. The Wall Street Journal, record immigration surge at the border. The Washington Post, record-breaking family migration, overwhelming border agency. Politico, yes, there is a crisis at the border.
Yeah,
Larry,
and
which is it?
The pregnancy tests are not after they get here. It's not to see what's happened to them after they get here. They're in safe harbor here. It's what happens on the journey, the 2,000-mile journey from Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador across Mexico. It's horrific, and by having an open border policy like we have right now, it's attracting people, and children are being used as pawns. And Leslie, my heart breaks for these children, and I'm sure you do too. The way to stop it is to secure our borders so there's not any reason for them to come here. And I don't understand at this point what we need to do. In 2014, the Obama administration asked for emergency appropriations to secure the border because we had about 40% fewer crossing the border illegally. And at that time, they passed a law. Get this, it was called the Secure the Southwestern Border Act. Guess what it didn't do? It didn't secure the southwestern border. We need to secure the border, and finally we have a president doing it. Leslie, you're right. In 2000, we had a major problem, and we've been whistling past the graveyard since then. We should finally do something.
Actually, no, Barry, the numbers have been dropping since then.
But not
in the last decade, Leslie.
Where we had
the numbers show that we could be on pace to have 1 million people illegally crossing the border this year.
At what point is it an emergency?
Okay, can we just pause on this really quick? Because I want to see if you guys, and Jesse, I'll start with you, if you want to weigh in now on this breaking news from the Wall Street Journal that Michael Cohen may have lied again last week. He's already going to jail for lying to Congress, but apparently he said he never asked, never sought any kind of pardon from the president. There are reports from the Wall Street Journal tonight that his lawyers actually had those conversations or were asked to have those conversations. Jesse, your reaction to this breaking news?
That's what Michael Cohen does. Michael Cohen lies. He's lied from the beginning. He lied to Congress. He lied to Congress twice now. He continues to lie, continues to bring people down with him. But we all know what Michael Cohen's doing, Shannon. He's selling a book. He's trying to add up as many points as he can with the nut jobs in the left-wing media. So as soon as he gets out of prison, he can go on a book tour and they can make sure his book goes up to #1 because his career is over. And he has nothing to show for it. And this is version number 2 million of this is the thing that's going to take down Trump. Nothing's going to take down Trump. Nothing that's been presented so far.
Well, Leslie, what do you make of this this new revelation tonight? Because Cohen has said something very different than what we're hearing tonight.
Well, right now it's he said, right? I mean, we need to see evidence. I mean, Cohen has lied before. Could he have lied about this? Absolutely. Could the lawyers be lying about this? Absolutely. Bottom line is, if you look at the timing of this, though, he was already trashing the president. You're going to go to the guy that you're trashing and saying, "Hey, help, bail me out with a pardon." So the timing for me is a little bit suspicious. But I wouldn't put it past him to ask for a pardon. I think a lot of people in that position would.
Yeah, and Larry, we heard that there were discussions after the raid, and that there was some discussion of his attorneys coming to some of the Trump legal team and trying to say to them, like, hey, can we talk about a pardon? If not, kind of implying, well, then he may cooperate with the Southern District, which is clearly ratcheted up its look at the Trump finances, organization, family members, the whole deal.
Absolutely. And the problem with the he said scenario is that the he said in one hand is Michael Cohen, the other is Michael Cohen's lawyer. So that's a problem because they're both on the same side, supposedly. But the real problem here is that this guy who is a known liar, and everyone knows he's a liar, in Congress. They can't get enough of this guy because they don't care whether he's telling the truth or not. They care that he's giving them anything they can use for impeachment, because that's all they've got is to impeach this president instead of actually defeat him on policy and his ideas. They can't do that.
All right, I want to make sure we get to this Twitter thing because, Jesse, you're one of the people who was kicked off Twitter, suspended, whatever it was. Today, Jack Dorsey, the CEO, or maybe it was yesterday, here's what he said about being too quick to get rid of conservatives.
We would fully admit we probably were way too aggressive when we first saw this as well. So we made mistakes.
So, Jesse, as I recall, you're back on Twitter. Is that good enough for you? They say they made mistakes.
It's good enough for me because I don't need an apology. I don't need Jack and I don't need Twitter. And conservatives need to wake up and realize you better do something with your career, find a new avenue to make sure you don't need Twitter because they're going to keep banning people. Just because he's apologizing now, he's just trying to cover his rear end and keep Congress off his back. That's all he's doing. To give Twitter that power over you right now, if you're a conservative, for a man, it's like going out and buying a dream car and asking your wife to parallel park it for you. You're just asking
Hey. Now you've gone too far,
I am the
Jesse.
best parallel parker in the universe. I come from Boston, and I failed my driving test the first time around because I couldn't parallel park. I will go up against any guy to parallel park.
I mean, it may take me 20 minutes, but I'm going to get it done, and I'm not going to hit any cars in the process.
I'm saying nothing about this.
Look
I
at
have
that.
absolutely
Larry
nothing.
Larry is going all Switzerland on us. All right.
Exactly.
Leslie, Larry, Jesse, thank you all for weighing in on multiple topics.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Shannon.